Они под нами, они не отсюда.
For a century, humanity has looked to the stars for signs of intelligent life, scanning the silent void for a signal, a whisper from a distant world. We built our myths around visitors from above, beings who would descend from the heavens. But what if we have been looking in the wrong direction? What if the greatest mystery of our time was never out there, but has always been down here, hidden beneath the crushing pressure and eternal darkness of our own planet's oceans? Declassified fragments from the height of the Cold War tell a story not of extraterrestrials, but of a terrestrial intelligence, one that Soviet forces encountered, confronted, and ultimately tried to erase from history. This is the story of the unidentified submerged objects that haunt the Russian archives and the global signal that connects them all. The early 1980s, the Cold War is at its glacial peak. Beneath the vast, frozen expanse of the Arctic ice shelf, a Soviet nuclear submarine glides silently through the depths. Its mission is routine: patrol the strategic Barents Sea, monitor NATO activity, and test advanced sonar systems. But on this patrol, the instruments detected something impossible. Sonar operators logged 6 contacts, moving in a flawless geometric formation. Their velocity was alarming, calculated at over 200 knots, nearly 230 miles per hour. No known submersible, American or Soviet, could approach such speeds, let alone execute the instantaneous changes in direction the operators witnessed. The laws of hydrodynamics made it a physical impossibility. The water resistance alone would tear any conventional craft apart. Initially dismissed as a sophisticated American prototype or a complex sonar ghost, the contact's behavior soon suggested otherwise. They began mirroring the submarine's every maneuver with perfect precision, maintaining a constant distance. It was not an echo. It was a deliberate, intelligent response. The contacts moved with an unnatural silence, generating no acoustic turbulence, no propulsion signature, as if the water itself was not an obstacle to them. The commander, balancing protocol with disbelief, ordered a controlled descent to a depth of 260 meters. As the submarine stabilized, divers were deployed to perform an external hull inspection, a standard procedure to check for damage or foreign devices. In the crushing dark, illuminated only by their helmet lamps, the divers began their checks. Suddenly, one diver's light beam struck a reflective surface just meters away. It wasn't the submarine's hull. Witnesses on the internal comms reported the diver's panicked cry. He described a single, organic eye, the size of a man's head, staring back from the abyss. It blinked once, slowly, before vanishing completely. The mission was aborted. The commander transmitted a coded high-priority alert and withdrew to shallower waters. Debriefing transcripts, leaked decades later, confirmed profound shock among the crew. An internal naval inquiry was launched. The phenomenon was given an official designation, one that would appear again and again in classified files: USO, Unidentified Submerged Objects. The Arctic incident was not an isolated event. It was an omen. Far from the polar seas, in the heart of Siberia, Soviet forces were about to face these entities directly. Lake Baikal, the world's oldest and deepest lake, holding 20% of the planet's unfrozen fresh water. Its extreme depths and geological isolation made it a perfect natural laboratory for Soviet naval research. In 1982, a military diving team was conducting training exercises at a depth of 50 meters. What they encountered would become one of Russia's most disturbing military legends. The divers reported visual contact with a group of humanoid figures, each approximately 3 meters tall. According to summaries later leaked from military archives, these beings were clad in tight-fitting, metallic suits, but displayed no visible breathing apparatus or life support equipment, despite the near-freezing water temperatures. They moved with a slow, deliberate grace, observing the Soviet team in a stable formation. Moscow Command, alerted to this unprecedented discovery, issued a stunning order: capture one of the beings for study. As the divers attempted to deploy a large net over one of the figures, they were struck by a powerful, instantaneous kinetic force. It was not an explosion or a physical blow, but a wave of energy that propelled all 7 divers from a depth of 50 meters to the surface in seconds. The exponential decompression was catastrophic. 3 men died instantly. The 4 survivors suffered severe, life-altering injuries. Medical records describe the cause as trauma from a rapid, forced ascent initiated by an unknown external source. Officially, the incident was logged as equipment malfunction. Unofficially, Lake Baikal became the focus of intense, secret research. The surviving divers were quarantined, their testimonies buried under layers of state security. But their story, combined with the Arctic encounter, pointed toward a presence that was not just observant, but capable of defending itself with technology beyond human comprehension. 2 encounters, thousands of kilometers apart, one in an Arctic sea, the other in a freshwater lake. Were they connected? Analysts at the Soviet Naval Acoustic Research Center believed so. In the aftermath of the Baikal tragedy, they began a comprehensive review of historical sonar data from across all Soviet territories. They found it. Buried in the noise was a signal, a faint but persistent low-frequency pulse. It consisted of a repeating sequence with a precise 3.8-second interval. Its rhythmic stability and narrow band frequency were too perfect for a natural origin. Marine life, geological events, and mechanical echoes were all ruled out. Researchers named it the Baikal Pulse. As they cross-referenced data, they made a shocking discovery. The identical signal appeared in recordings from the Arctic, the North Atlantic, and the Pacific. The pattern suggested a synchronized network of sources, separated by continents, communicating in unison. The pulse was not static. Its points of origin shifted over time, moving along continental shelves and across deep ocean trenches. The correlation was undeniable. The pulse would intensify in a region immediately before USO contacts were recorded. It appeared to be a form of communication, coordination, or perhaps a global positioning system for these unknown entities. Publicly, officials dismissed the anomaly as instrumental interference. Internally, technical bulletins concluded the signal was authentic, artificial, and represented a coordinated emission behavior. Decades later, post-Soviet hydrophone networks independently verified the pulse's existence. The data confirmed the Soviet Navy's most secret fear. The phenomena in the Arctic and Lake Baikal were not random encounters. They were manifestations of a single, globally coordinated intelligence. The military's next step was to locate the source of the pulse. High-resolution sonar mapping of the Arctic seabed revealed what they were looking for. Not a creature, not a vessel, but a series of massive, dome-shaped structures arranged in a perfect triangular alignment. Each formation measured 400 meters in diameter. Their surfaces were smooth and symmetrical, reflecting sonar in a manner consistent with dense composite materials, not rock. Furthermore, magnetic surveys recorded powerful electromagnetic fields emanating from the domes, fluctuating in perfect synchronization with the Baikal pulse. The conclusion, submitted to the Naval Research Directorate, was chilling. The sites were engineered constructs exhibiting active field behavior. Then came the final transmission. In April 1983, a reconnaissance submarine in the Kara Sea sent a frantic 26-second distress call before vanishing. The message was clear. They are beneath us. They're not from here. Rescue teams found the submarine 48 hours later, drifting silently at depth. The hull was pristine. All systems were functional. But every single crew member was gone. There was no sign of a struggle, no damage, no breach. The ship was a ghost. The vessel's black box held the final clue. Its data log recorded the Baikal pulse, growing stronger and stronger, until it terminated at the exact moment the final transmission was sent. The final entry in the ship's log read, "Unidentified contact approaching from below. Shape indeterminate." The note ended mid-sentence. Following this event, all Soviet research into USOs and the Baikal Pulse was abruptly terminated. The files were sealed, the programs dismantled. The disappearance of the Kara Sea crew marked the final, terrifying entry in the official record. What did the Soviets truly discover? The evidence, when pieced together, points away from the stars and toward the abyss. The recurring patterns of observation, precise mirroring of human technology, and non-aggression unless provoked do not align with a typical extraterrestrial incursion. It suggests something else: habitation. A theory emerged from within these secret programs, proposing that these objects belong to an advanced, non-human civilization that evolved within Earth's oceans. An aquatic intelligence that may predate humanity by millions of years, existing in the 95% of the ocean that remains completely unexplored. This hypothesis reframes the entire mystery. The beings in Lake Baikal and the craft in the Arctic were not visitors, they were natives. Their advanced technology, hydrodynamic mastery, silent propulsion, and kinetic energy fields would be the natural product of a civilization that mastered a high-pressure, fluid environment. In 2009, this theory received its most powerful support. A series of Soviet naval files briefly appeared on a Russian archival website before being scrubbed. For a few days, the world was given a glimpse of the final secret. The files contained sonar charts of a colossal moving anomaly beneath the Arctic ice, referred to as the Arctic entity. The recorded structure measured an astounding 40 kilometers across, composed of concentric, geometric rings rotating in opposite directions. It was self-propelled, moving slowly along the seabed, and emitted the same low-frequency energy as the Baikal Pulse. This was not just a ship or a base. This was a biomechanical or mechanical construct on the scale of a city, the potential central node of a global underwater network. The collected evidence, from fleeting sonar contact to direct confrontation to a global signal and finally to a city-sized entity, paints a consistent and paradigm-shattering picture. An unknown intelligence operates within Earth's oceans. It is ancient, technologically superior, and has remained deliberately concealed. Its behavior suggests it is monitoring humanity's expansion into the seas, observing the noisy, primitive species that has come to dominate the planet's surface. The official records were buried, the witnesses silenced, and the truth dismissed as folklore. But the fragments remain, telling a story of a silent, cold war being waged not between nations, but between two intelligent species sharing a single planet. We have spent generations looking for our reflection in the cosmos, hoping to find that we are not alone. What if it has been looking back at us all along? From the abyss. The oceans cover 71% of Earth. We have explored less than 5% of them. What do you believe is hiding in the deep? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching.